today's a little bit of fun. It's a bit of a finishing off and of the whole thing, and kind of what I call bringing the whole thing now together.
I can tell you right now, I've had a few challenges today that the digital ID is currently live in Australia and trying to access RAM, other business things and the rest of it.
Mate, either you're as popular as Taylor Swift or the topic is a hot topic or both.
Mate, I tell you, when I put my hand up to give you a hand a couple of weeks ago I was not expecting the response that you had. It's not just like a one size fits all, you know, there's so many different ways that a web of structuring and what your lifestyle can look like. But yeah, I'm happy to stretch it for people, you know, in this audience and people in this country that want to do better.
I need to make this really, really clear because financial planning laws in Australia are pretty strict. Like I cannot give any kind of financial advice. I can only educate. And that really means I can't even give a few tips or whatever else or give a general advice comment. Action is a secret to life and to everything. And if you've taken action, I commend you. I really do. When people have experienced pain, they take it more seriously. So protecting your assets is the best money you'll ever waste. That's what I'm saying. It's peace of mind. And there's stuff you could, and we went about the 4 stages of that journey. I decided today to make these masterclasses available on our YouTube channel publicly. Up until now, they hadn't been, just because it's so important. We're going to leave them open for a little bit for you to watch. The government are looking really closely at crypto, so you really don't want to mess around with that one. The exact words of the Indonesian president was, we're expecting a flood of Australian refugees in the next 3 years for what their government are up to right now. So keep in mind that the wealthy are seeing the writing on the walls, so to speak. They just literally turned up at people's houses and took their guns off them and revoked their licenses just because they did things they didn't like and then proudly announced it. Hope for the best, plan for the worst. Like an insurance policy, hope in times of this, there's also extraordinary opportunities for those who keep calm, don't panic, and see what's changing. For those who are really willing to see this, in a way, I see this as an extraordinary opportunity for people who, up until now, have missed out on participating in the old system to be able to participate more in the new system. Think of COVID as the health, think of phase 2 as the wealth. It's going to be a real shock for many Australians who grew up in a different world, where pretty much it's going to be like Dubai, like many other places, where you don't basically do what you're told. When we get caught up with one country, we miss what's happening elsewhere. We miss the fact that, for example, property prices and opportunities are really available overseas. People are living longer. And generally before, people would make up money, then they would die at 65, 70. And by then, when they didn't really give a shit about working anymore, they'd die. Now people are living more to 90 and they're running out of money more. And it's funny, it's crazy how fast life catches up on you. But basically, you've got plenty, time just goes pretty damn fast. So you just have to realize that things have changed. And it's time to be looking outside and considering, is it maybe better if I start building my wealth overseas? To start a business or do a business is much harder than being an employee. That's why potentially the risks are higher, but the rewards are greater if you do it properly. So people who tell you that you need money to make money, it just isn't true. And in fact, as one billionaire once said, having a lot of money gets you complacent into bad habits. If you don't have a lot of money, be encouraged, and you're willing to be creative. This is a very good way to go. Trent's amazing with people. You've all seen that. Whereas I don't do a lot of consults unless, I'm really doing certain kind of work, because I get annoyed with just initial chit chat. I prefer to get on and work with people ready to take action. So it's very hard to buy good quality land now because everyone's buying it up, unless you can meet locals because over here and honest locals. And I've managed to meet some. And because of the richest 200 people in the world, almost every one of them has some level of real estate, whether they're buying it for long-term wealth or they're simply using it for cash flow. Recently, my AI consultant, who does a lot of our stuff with Global Wealth Club, he actually says to me, he showed me something that he was using AI to do predictive calculations for him, and he did very precise prompts on the crypto market for the next 3 months. He did this back in June. And of the 5 cryptos it showed as the best one to buy, 4 of the 5 did really well. The most important thing, though, everything I'll teach you today is the most boring thing, but I can promise you that you will not meet a super wealthy person who doesn't follow the 5-bucket investment system. The best book you could ever read is The Richest Man in Babylon. You don't rely on your Uber driver to give you crypto advice. So you don't listen to your son's girlfriend in terms of how to go and buy property. You can buy, say, 50 grand in Bali, and you can basically double your money and be receiving 100% return every year if you know what you're doing. Because what's going to happen in this time is a big divide. Basically, the middle class is by and large disappearing. Most small businesses are going to disappear. You're either going to be doing very well for yourself, or you're going to be living as a slave on government income, so to speak. That's where I see this going. So either you're going to be slave or you're going to be sovereign. It's not going to be in between. The short answer is that you want to protect your wealth, you want to be cashing up, but you want to be right now protecting your wealth and starting to educate yourself to learn about a world outside Australia. Because the world outside Australia is pretty damn good. The worst thing you could do is jump in and educate yourself or go in and invest in shit you don't understand. You know, it's the fastest way to get yourself into all kinds of trouble. The Great Depression saw more millionaires than any other time in history per capita. There was just a huge wealth transfer and a wiping out of the middle class. The wealthy mindset sees opportunity where others see risk. That's what you do. You see opportunity where others see risk. Life is too good to be sitting there getting ourselves worked up, you know? It's a great time in history. I've never been so excited to be alive right now. I know that sounds like I'm a Creflo Dollar evangelist motivational speaker, but I'm really not. The government wanted to JV and take 40% of my profits, whether I liked it or not. She goes, I decided I didn't like that deal, so I moved to Bali and set up a wellness center. I've now set up 10 wellness centers across the world. The biggest difference between a poor person and a wealthy person is this. Because you're saving yourself so much time. The difference between a millionaire or less than a millionaire and a really wealthy person is a millionaire will do anything to hold on to what they've got and hold on to their money. Millionaire would rather be 100% of the profit and controlling it and doing the work for himself. The millionaire would rather have only 30% of that $1 million business, but maybe have 10 of them happening. The other one is leveraging, like you borrow against your portfolio, you leverage your time, you leverage your money, and things like that. Finding a way to borrow or leverage to get more access to capital. And of course, creating your plan B, which we've been going about, which is your, plan to grow your income and assets, protecting your wealth, your offshore strategies, and planning your estate or legacy. Yep, nothing beats networking and getting mentors. Telling you now, I don't do anything now on my own. Don't even waste my time trying. I don't bother. I network and I get mentors. That simple. Keep it really easy. If you don't take action on your intention, I said, it's like watching OnlyFans every day and telling everyone she's your girlfriend. It's the same deal. Life's more fun to be a troll. That's what I say. Small steps are better than nothing than trying to do a whole lot at once and things like that. I was sitting here talking to a visa agent today and finding out how I can get a D12 or Kita investor visa, which means I can pretty much be here more often and be an investor. Plan for what's difficult while it's easy to do. It's still easy to set yourself up, move money, move things around. So I'm going to quickly give you the 90-minute wealth check with Trent. There's still some spots left from what I understand. Who here hasn't booked in for one of these wealth checks, but is now ready to book in for this wealth check? Because this is what you will get. So here's the link to book in for the wealth check for those couple who messaged me. So if you want to do that, we've got a special deal for this one. It's normally $9.97, but if you type in the code VIP, you get $4.97. So what I'm going to do now is this is an exclusive offer and the code VIP. You really get with like-minded people to put your wealth creation on steroids.
It's often said the difference of a millionaire and a billionaire is an astrologist, right? It's, you want to go, if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, then you go with a team. I've never been the smartest man in the room, and I don't intend to ever be the smartest man in the room, but I surround myself with the smartest people. My biggest asset, to go back just to Tom's question, is my network. My network is my biggest asset in every way. When you're in a different jurisdiction, you can speak very more openly. You're going to be part of the Great Awakening or the Great Reset. There's nothing else. The middle class is wiped out. You'll be dependent on government or you'll be completely sovereign, right? That's simply a choice. But it's not just a matter of like flipping a coin. You have to make change.